Hello and welcome to Quick Healthy Italian. Now today I'm going to make a wonderful bruschetta, but it's not your traditional bruschetta. It is an asparagus and mushroom bruschetta. It has a lot of wonderful flavors in it, and it's very decadent and yet very, very healthy. So this is something that you could bring to a dinner party and be very, very proud. You can serve it as an appetizer or as a side dish. I think you're going to like this one. It's really easy. And it's delicious. Okay, here we are. What I'm doing is I'm cutting my baguette here, and I'm cutting it on the diagonal. And this is going to be the beginning of our bruschetta. It just looks prettier when it's on the diagonal, see, and you have more room, to work with. It makes it a little bit larger. Okay, so I'm just going to continue cutting my baguette, and we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, we're back. So I have a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of butter here, just enough to coat my pan. And in it, I'm going to put one big bunch of asparagus. Asparagus take the longest to cook, so we're going to put those in first. And to my asparagus, I'm going to add a little bit of salt, my favorite Mediterranean granulated salt. And I'm going to cook that just for about a minute and a half, and then we'll add the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so my asparagus are cooking along, and to that now I'm going to add my mushrooms. Oh yeah, looks like a lot, but mushrooms cook down. Give them a little toss and a little bit of salt. For the mushrooms, you want to salt every stage so that everybody has enough seasoning. Okay, we're back now. I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. And I'm going to add one large onion. Okay. Once again, a little bit of salt. We'll be right back. Now we're going to add garlic. I've got about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic that I minced, and I'm going to put those in, kind of towards the end of this sautéing process, because you never want your garlic to burn. It gets that taste that's, unpleasant. So you want to put it in at the end because it cooks up quite quickly and it's minced nice and finely. And as you can see, things have really cooked down here. Okay, to this wonderful mixture, we're now going to add some balsamic vinegar. This is going to add a little sweetness and yet a little bit of tartness. And it is so delicious when you add that balsamic vinegar. So as that's cooking in, I also have some green onion that I chopped up. I'm going to put a nice big handful of that in there. And that I'm not going to cook for very long because I want it to stay like a little bit crunchy. And I put half of what I chopped up. The other half is going to be a garnish. Okay, this is pretty much ready. Okay, I have a cookie sheet now. And what I'm doing here is I have some extra virgin olive oil. And I'm just going to paint olive oil all over the pieces of bread that I cut earlier. And the reason for this is we're going to get them all nice and moist with the olive oil, and then we're going to put them under the broiler so they get nice and crispy, and the olive oil just kind of settles in within this wonderful bread. This is actually a baguette, sourdough baguette that I found. I like the sourness of a sourdough baguette. And it was freshly baked this morning, so it's nice and fresh. Something that you can kind of skimp on. You don't have to bake your own bread. Okay, and it's delicious and fresh. And so there, all this olive oil is being absorbed into this wonderful cut up baguette. Easy as pie. So you can see, that's all done. Okay, and these are ready for the oven. So I'm going to pop them in the oven and under 500 degrees, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've transferred just 5 of my little crostini, my little pieces of bread here. Okay, so now for the purpose of showing you how this works, this is for a dinner party tonight. So I took 5 of my pieces for my bruschetta, and I just put them on a foil-lined baking sheet, and I'm going to put my mixture of my mushrooms and my garlic and my onions, my balsamic vinegar, all of these wonderful components of this mushroom asparagus bruschetta, and just gonna put a nice abundant layer of all this goodness on each and every one of them. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to take some cheese, and I'm going to use Fontina cheese. I like Fontina because Fontina, it's called Fontina because fondere in Italian means to melt, and Fontina melts really nicely. You could use mozzarella on this. You could use whatever really cheese you want, so long as it's not a really overpowering cheese, because the flavors in this are so delicious that you don't want to overpower them. I would suggest mozzarella or Fontina, or a smoked mozzarella would be great too. So I'm going to pop these into the oven, and they're going to be there for a few minutes under 500 degrees, under broil, and wait till you see what they look like when they come out. Stay tuned. Okay, I'm back, and these are out of the oven. I want you to see how beautiful they are. Do you see that? Look at this beautiful yumminess. What I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer these onto a platter. And I'm going to show you what they look like. There we go, on a nice platter. There they are. And then to this platter, what I want to do is I'm going to garnish it. Remember those green onions that I saved? I'm going to put a few little green onions over the top and just around the plate. Okay, so of course mine is going to be larger. I have a beautiful dish I'm going to serve it on later on today, but that kind of gives you the idea of how beautiful and luxurious these look. That is so good. All those flavors, they really pop in your mouth. It's a really nice combination. The texture of the asparagus and the mushrooms, that balsamic vinegar in the background, and the garlic and the onions, and then that freshness of the green onion that's over the top. It's really good. You are going to impress your friends with this one. And it's healthy. It is so good for you. And it's delicious. I hope you try this recipe. I hope you subscribe. Come join me next time at Quick Healthy Italian.